Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Tech Unlocked podcast, the podcast where we unlock the latest tech news, leaks, and rumors, especially in the world of Apple. I'm one of your hosts, Benji from BenObi Tech, and I'm joined by Taylor from TA Tech. And today we also have a special guest. We have Marc Sequence, or the Lifeguard DJ, as many people know him as. How are you guys doing today?
Tired.
Doing great.
Same here.
Doing
Honestly,
great.
yeah.
It's 8 a.m. over here in the Golden State. Too early, man.
It's early.
Californians
Yeah,
don't get up that early. At least I don't think the cool ones do, anyways.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway,
Bro, I wish I was in California right now.
Anyway, thanks for joining us today, Marc, for this episode. We're really looking forward to hearing some of your thoughts and stuff on some of the things that we're going to be discussing today. So this is episode 25 of the Tech Unlocked podcast. We've come quite a ways away, quite a long way. Yeah, whatever. And it's been fun as well so far. And we're quitting, so we're shutting down the podcast. Taylor did not know this.
I'm actually here to escort these guys out.
I'm giving up. Yeah, I'm giving
sure they
up.
don't take any of the cubbies or pencils or anything with
Finito.
them. I'll do my best. Like I was telling them, I mean, like with anything, right? We're tech enthusiasts. We can talk about the stuff. Tech woes, man, they're a real thing. Even for pre-recorded stuff such as this, we're still doing it live, right? Like this is happening right here, right now, from 3 different parts of the globe. And I'll like I said, I'll try to hang in there. I did reboot my system that solved a couple bugs, but if I can hear you better than I can see you, but sometimes you guys sound like T-Pain. So I'll try. If anything, you'll just see me smile and nod. But we'll see.
No problem. But anyway, guys, we were just joking. We're gonna continue this show.
Yeah.
But today we've got quite a lot to talk about. Actually, before the episodes, like about half an hour ago, we barely had anything. But then, as we did some digging, we found a bunch of other articles to talk about. So we're gonna talk a little bit about iPhone. Apparently, having its own subscription service where you can actually get an iPhone on a subscription service. That's going to be interesting. We're also going to be talking a little bit about how the fact that nobody's buying the new iPhone SE. We're going to be talking about the possibility of WWDC invites being sent out as soon as this week, if not next week. And
oh yeah,
also talking a little bit about how Samsung is copying Apple yet again, or vice versa, whichever way you want to look at it, with a display. And also talking a little bit more about Samsung in terms of a rollable phone that might be coming out later on this year. So Taylor, do you want to take us away with the first article we have here?
Yeah, so again, like Benji was saying, iPhones are going to be doing this subscription service thing later this year. And honestly, I'm kind of confused about it. So if somebody could help me out to understand this, that would be great. Because honestly, it's kind of weird because I thought we had something similar to this already. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, my understanding of this is, I mean, yeah, I think you're right. Like the Apple has the Apple Upgrade program, which is technically kind of the same thing, but I think what this subscription service is, I'm sure it'll be kind of like Apple Music, where you can pay for a month, and then if you don't like it, you can cancel whenever, pretty much. So it goes like month by month. So I think that will probably be the difference, because whenever you get a contract or whenever you get an Apple Upgrade program, you're stuck. If you go past like the usually 30-day return or 14-day return window, then you're pretty much done. And like if you wanted to change the color, or you wanted to upgrade to a different phone or whatever, or you just want a different phone entirely, then you can't exactly do that as of right now. But if it's a subscription service, I think it'll be kind of more of like mobile phone renting or leasing more than anything, and then you don't get to own it probably by the end of it anyway. So
right,
yeah, at least that's what I think. What are your thoughts, Marc?
Have you guys been on the iPhone upgrade program before? Because my experience, I mean, it's been a long time. I think the last phone that when I was on it, I would get like I think one every other year, and then one year I did do back to back, and then I went to every other, and then eventually I stopped. The last one I did was for the 10s Max, or 10, the regular 10, the standard when they just came in the one size and the two colors, black or white.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
Yeah.
if I remember, again, that was quite a while back, and a lot has happened since then. So maybe I'm not remembering it right, but I'm pretty sure you would be able to catch up on payments as if you were halfway done with it, and as long as you
Yep.
paid at least the 50% mark, then you were able to swap that one back and get the next one if you wanted to. If not, then your payments would continue, and then you just keep going until you would own it, right? So that's like that was a zero interest financing, similar to carrier financing, but just from Apple, and actually from I think it was Citizens Bank at the time, or maybe still is if they're still running the program. It was financed through them, and then same deal. This way at least you get also Apple Care Plus, I think was included, and it would vary from carrier financing. That I think carrier financing, depending on your carrier, you'd have to be careful because they wouldn't always be like financing. Some of them were like flex leases, where it would be you can get like a better deal up front, or either the trade-off would be like pay less month to month, but you wouldn't get usually Apple Care or insurance would be separate, and not every single plan you would be an owner afterwards. You'd have to still like I think at month 18 or something like that out of the 24, they're like, okay, now you have to pay like 80% rather than 50% of the phone, but still have to give it back to them. So that's how I think it'll vary. This way, it sounds like it'll be like some other creators already put it, like Netflix or Hulu subscription, to where you would go month to month and you can cancel anytime and give it back to them anytime, or
Yeah, it's
swap it
like
out
if you
for
don't pay,
yeah
if you
yeah
don't pay
probably
for it,
probably
then
swap it
you'll
out for
stop
a color
getting.
too. I mean, I would imagine that
Right.
there wouldn't be anything stopping you from saying like, hey, now that there's a green one, for example, if you got Sierra Blue or Gold when it came out,
Yep.
that would be 6 months rather than like a 12-month or even 18-month for the other options that are out there now. So I like it. I'm not so much like there was that other video about that this would negate that I own it, it's my thing, I want to do whatever I want to it, or jailbreak it, or do this um, with this hardware and software, and I think this would be one way to close that loop, which I'm
Yeah,
okay with, because
definitely.
I don't
Definitely.
I've only jailbroken I think an iPod Touch, or one of the early phones long time ago. But I mean, even still, so it's kind of fun. So like I get like how
Oh
there's
yeah.
that community that would like wants customization, and that who doesn't like customization. But sometimes I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this is out of my what I know and what I feel comfortable, so I just don't mess with it anymore. So I'm totally fine with that closed system. I mean, a lot of people benefit of it, and the other argument of that is that that's one of the reasons that iPhone is as popular as it is with as many people as it is, because it's a closed off system. So.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And I think this is a great idea, this subscription service type thing, because I think it will also open the opportunity for more people to join the Apple ecosystem in a way. Because then
Yes.
they're not like, oh, I have to finance it, or I have to be a part of the upgrade program, or oh, I have to get a contract or whatever. People could just say, hey, I want to try iPhone. I'm just gonna get the subscription service. I'll try it for a month. If I don't like it, I can send it back. And this is also a great thing, because then as Apple is um giving you this option, they can then bundle other subscription services with it. So like they can throw in Apple Care, which I'm sure Apple Care will probably come as a standard on this plan, because like if somebody gets the phone and breaks it, then they probably need something like Apple Care. But like they could bundle things like Apple TV Plus or even Apple One, for example, with the
Mhm.
iPhone. Like they have a whole bundle eventually. Like one day, maybe you pay a couple $100 a month and you get Mac, you get a computer, you get a phone, sorry, you get a Apple Watch and everything, and all of the subscriptions as well. I think that would be cool, because I mean, we even were hearing about the fact that Apple's AR or mixed reality headset that they're going to be releasing either later on this year or next year, it was going to come with a subscription service as well. So I think this might be kind of
Yeah.
like a test thing, because it's the first time that Apple's actually done um this kind of like hardware subscription service, which I don't even think many
Yeah,
companies even do themselves. Like I've seen some that do them with headphones and stuff like that. But I think it's a great idea. It will be interesting to see how Apple kind of, I guess, regulates this thing. Like what happens if I get the phone and then I decide not to pay like after a month, and
yep,
like yes, I
yep,
have to send it back. Are they gonna just come and take it from me, or I don't know. It sounds like
right.
an interesting idea, an interesting concept, and of course it's not fully confirmed. Um, but I think it'll be cool to see.
hmm Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
I think it'll be tied to some sort of. I mean, even if it's like a soft credit pull, I think they could still decide to file something on you, like to report it in some way. Or I mean,
Yep.
maybe if they would want to make it official. I mean, I know that carriers do the same thing, and then the iPhone upgrade program, same thing. You do still have to qualify to get that 0% from that third party, and they'll just put on your name, hey, this person never paid this device or these devices or what
hmm
have you.
Yeah,
So that'll be
because
interesting to see exactly what way they go.
I mean, it would be cool if it's kind of like any other subscription service where they don't really do a credit check, because there are a lot of people that have bad credit, and they just want to get a
Yeah,
monthly phone or whatever. So I think it would be pretty good if they did it without kind of like the whole credit check thing, at least for some people. Um, but I guess yeah, we'll see how this works. It'll be cool. Um,
definitely.
yes, Taylor, if you don't have any other thoughts, I can move on to the next
Yeah,
topic.
definitely.
All right, so the next one is about WWDC, which should be coming up in the next couple months, and the rumors are that it will be taking place on June 6th, and that it'll be in person as well. So those are two exciting things, and apparently the invites will probably be going out at some point in the next week or so. At least that's what some people have been saying. Um, Actually, we had an article here for a little bit later, um, but yeah, are you guys excited for Dub, and do you have any predictions for what Apple might have in store for us?
Uh, I'm really hoping. Um, for me, I'm really hoping for AR VR glasses, or um, even the rugged version of the Apple Watch. Actually, more so the rugged version of the Apple Watch than the AR VR glasses, because I think that at this point, if they're still doing it, they're probably considering that they had stopped production for a while because of COVID. I think that it will probably take a little bit longer for them to actually get things done, and make sure everything's perfect. I don't know, but that's just me.
Yeah, I'm expecting if this does happen, prepare possibly for at least way less, if any, fancy cinematography and editing at all. I know that sometimes they do preview, the promotional campaigns for some products, so they'll show you something right before they're going to actually bring it out on stage for demos. They'll show like kind of like here's the new XYZ product, and then they'll dim the lights and they'll play a clip. Um, so hopefully we still see some of that. I mean, those we all are very familiar now, and I mean I like seeing like that eye candy with those drone shots and that fancy aerial footage and stuff like that. So hopefully they still retain some of that. Of course, the team that has been putting these pre-recorded events together, like they have that experience, right? We're in year 3 now of these digital events that they've been masterfully putting together for us. And so that is exciting. I'm wondering now, also, like okay, say it does happen, how many people is it going to be restricted to?
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
Yeah, yeah,
before
I can't
that's
remember.
WWDC, they would get what, 5,000 people. So
yep.
Yeah, I
5,000
think
people
something
with
crazy.
six. Yeah, social distancing, doesn't that like basically multiply the space they need by 6?
Yeah, so that I mean, they might probably just cut it in half. Maybe just do two
I
and a
would
half
say
thousand
a sixth of it, right? Like
or
maybe
a
5 to
sixth of it.
800 people.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
hmm
Wow.
they probably just want like some developers there and stuff like that. Not make it too big because of COVID, of course, and stuff. Um, so, but
Yeah,
it'll be
because
it'll
like
be
a
cool
lot
to
of people
see.
are saying it's still going on. So
Yeah, it'll be cool to see how they do it in person. If they even do maybe like a mix of kind of like what they've been doing now or
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
So yeah.
That'll be cool. Um, I mean, I guess it's just a matter of time to see what happens, but I mean, I'm sure that they're gonna do a lot of restrictions, due to COVID. So, I'm sure they have it handled, and I'm sure that there's gonna be a lot of people who, are gonna be wearing masks and whatnot because there are still a lot of people wearing masks out in public. So, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder. Do you think they're gonna let at least the media is gonna get in, right? Or maybe we'll find out who's like anti-vax or whatever.
right, right,
They're like, why wasn't your guys' coverage? Why didn't you guys get invited? It's like we were invited. Well, why weren't you there? It's like,
yeah, exactly,
we'll
Yeah.
get
exactly.
political.
Anyway, yeah, anyway, because of time, we'll move on to the next topic here. So
Yep,
apparently nobody's buying the iPhone SE, the new one.
bruh.
At least that's what it looks like because Apple has kind of cut production down quite a bit. Um,
Yep,
so I mean, I guess this is to be expected. Like this new iPhone SE is almost the same as the last one. It's like we kind of saw it coming.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
No, it definitely saw it coming. You know, I think that it's kind of weird because seeing a little bit of the spec bump, um, better battery. I'm surprised that people are not going more for it. But I mean, again, maybe if since the older phones that people have is still good. If nowadays, especially if your phone's good, you're not gonna upgrade until it crashes. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's a lot of people's mentality.
yeah,
So if you don't need it, then I guess whatever. But I'm honestly surprised that it's as bad as it is.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
and I
wondering
guess
that. I think because of that. Do you think it's because of the price hike too? I mean, like obviously, not a lot of people are
Probably,
not a
probably.
lot of people are like us, where we will get anything we can get our hands on, whether we can
Right,
afford
right.
it or not, because we don't have financial advisors or self control. But in addition
Self
to that,
control. That's
in addition
exactly
to that, like if even if you're a regular person and you are like, oh, I like Apple, and the chances you're gonna watch their event is still, I think, pretty low. But one of the reasons, like at least to us, I mean, I didn't agree with it, but other people that they were saying like, oh, why are we gonna spend even a second of stage time in this, these fancy events to promote this phone when it's the same design, da da da. It's like, well, because it's not for us, right? We know that they know that they have us already. They have
yeah,
us. We're a
yeah,
done deal.
exactly.
we're
We've
already
been
stuck.
we've been in the bag since forever ago, right? So
Right,
for
right.
for the off chance that and also because they know that anything they put on the stage is going to be covered by everyone else, right? And even if you're not a news outlet, you're going to tell people, oh, what did you see this and then, like, a new iPhone is a new iPhone. But I think that
Right.
that price hike, I think, is not sitting well with people because, mind you, yes, it's the cheapest, most affordable, um, phone that you can get, and iPhone has been, like other videos have stated, more accessible now, recently than it has ever been before. But
Mhm,
that one
mhm.
thing that it had going for it is now not there anymore. That's that 10%, 8 to 10% fee that you still have to pay tax on, probably, in majority of wherever you're going to buy this thing, this cheap, now more expensive entry level iPhone. I think is if they would have eaten that price hike, then I wonder how much better, maybe if we can have that information. I'd like to see that data of like what the projections were, going into the event, because no one predicted
Yep.
the price hike. Everyone was saying, hey, they might even cut it by $20 or $50, or who knows, a sub $200 starting price, at least, for
Mhm.
the basic, the entry level storage configuration. And I think that everyone else, they're like, oh, now we're like almost $500, something, depending if you buy a case for it, or if you get the higher storage, and with taxes and all that.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I can see why people would be shying away from it.
Yeah, and also I guess you've also got to factor in that inflation is starting to be a problem for a lot of people. A lot of consumers are kind of struggling with that, and so the fact that Apple did raise the price of it, and also the fact that people have less money to spend on things like phones and things that I guess they don't necessarily need at this time because maybe they already have a phone that works fine.
Yeah.
Then that also I think is another reason why they've kind of cut down production a little bit because there's not as much demand for these products anymore as there was like a couple months ago when inflation wasn't as bad.
Yeah, and even if your plan already was maybe not a need, like say if your phone was okay, but you were like, well, I'm kind of sick of it, and I want to upgrade, whether it's from another iPhone, older iPhone, or maybe even an Android. Now, even just the want to upgrade it is less so because that that premium now there's a premium on switching, period. Whether it's that you
Yeah.
want to or you need to, and you got to just kind of. Now, let me ask you guys: if you guys were Apple or someone in charge of that at Apple, would you guys have, kept it at the same price at least? Would you have made the case for, look, if we eat that cost, then that maybe we can move, I don't know, X amount more units than if we wouldn't, because again, the people that are buying this phone that prefer this entry level, and even if like an individual who would just buy one, or a business owner who wants to buy it for their 2, 5, 10, couple dozens of employees worth, that now you're multiplying that, right? Now that's exponentially more expensive than just the one, for personal use or what have you.
I mean, I would have just kept it the same price, if not lowered it. Because I mean, if you think about it, like the iPhone SE is kind of the entry, is it's kind of like Apple's entry level iPhone that to help people enter into the ecosystem. Because once you get an iPhone SE, you'll probably then want to get things like Apple Music or Apple TV Plus or Apple Fitness Plus, those kind of different services that Apple has. And so, like, yes, they may be getting a little bit of a hit on the price of on the cost of the phone. They might not have higher margins than what they could, but
Mhm.
that will then translate into the person going and buying more Apple products in the future because they'll have such great experience with the SE, and then buying different subscription services and so on and
Yeah.
so forth. So I think making the price lower would have really made this phone, I guess, more worth it than what it
Mhm.
is now, because right now it's basically the last iPhone SE with a slightly better processor, slightly better camera, not
Mhm.
physically but as digit like software wise, um and just slightly bigger battery, and that's pretty much it. There's not really and 5G, and there's not really anything else that makes this phone, I think, worth the extra $30, especially since now you can even go and get the second gen SE for way less than what
Yeah.
it used to
True.
cost.
Well, again, I mean, remember that everyone else is not like us. Like, to us, we even
Yeah.
going from the 12 Pro Max to the 13 Pro Max, we're like, oh, minor upgrade, or like I didn't get the features I wanted, or I didn't get a redesign, and it's like less and less because we already have like we have the best iPhone that there is. So again, like putting that aside, these people, I mean, maybe subscriptions. I mean, the $30, that's what 1 month of Apple One, right? Their top tier. What if they did something
Yeah,
like that? What if they did like and now included with either every phone or specifically the SE is like, this reminds me of when Sprint used to do this also, and I'm sure other carriers, where when I would notice, because they wouldn't say anything, when I would notice my bill went up by a little bit, they're like, well, we your base fee, or this specific fee or surcharge, the minimum is now this much more a month, but we're giving you maybe 5 more, 10 more gigs of hotspot, or if you didn't have hotspot before, like, hey, now you have hotspot. And I'm like, well, why didn't no one tell me? But bringing this back to Apple, maybe they do like, with every iPhone SE now, in get a sampling of the best services that we have to offer, because they have a bundle of like 5, 6 of them now, right? For the Apple
yeah,
One, plus the iCloud
yeah,
storage, and maybe hook them in that way. But I think, I mean, I guess to them, like, oh, inflation, yeah, sure. But to them also, it's like, well, 5G and the better, the battery and the wallpapers, we got to pay someone to design the wallpapers. So they are giving us something for that. But I think maybe, or is it because we're greedy to be more? I mean, that would make more sense. It would, again, it's a free sample, right? Because the point would be to try to like get them into the ecosystem if they're not in it already, and then once they're in there, then get them sampling to see what
yeah.
more iPhone and you know any product, I guess, because you can get Apple TV and all that on iPads as well and everything. So to hook them in that way. I think that would have been a good idea. They could still do it. They could still roll that out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Because I mean, there are certain Apple products that you buy where you get a certain subscription service for free for like a couple months. Like when I got my Series 7, I got 3 months of free Fitness Plus, and I was like,
Right.
okay, I might try it. I got the free trial and I haven't even used it once. But you've also got things like you buy a new iPhone and you get Apple TV Plus for a year or whatever. So they could easily do that with the SE as well. Kind of bundle in maybe a month free of Apple TV Plus or Apple Music, that kind of stuff. I think that would have made it probably a little bit more viable in a way.
The question about the
sure.
free trials, do you know if your timer starts like when you get the product, whether you started or not? Like, is that code like if you take a month or two and then you're like, okay, maybe I'll try the free trial, then yeah, right? Because I think your code, whenever you start it, I think will still only work for what's the standard 3 months? You'll get 3 months.
I
of Fitness
think
or 3 months of Apple Music.
yeah, because I think it was a couple of weeks until I decided to get the free trial for Fitness Plus, and so I don't know if it's like I think it's just
only when you
whenever. I think you can start.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you start, you get the 3 months or 6 months or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you just have the product there and you don't subscribe to it yet, I don't think there's really a time limit on that, on when you can redeem that.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. But anyway, moving on. Just a quick couple of stories here. So we've got Apple is basically not releasing a $1,000 monitor anytime soon. That's kind of okay.
I had a feeling
Cool.
that the studio display that just came out, like that's the entry level, don't you guys think?
Yeah, that I'm
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
sure that is at this point. Because I mean, Apple has said that they're not going to be releasing a sub 1K display, which makes sense. Like, I don't think Apple ever even has, at least to my knowledge. I
No.
think all their
They've had multiple
displays have been
sizes,
over
but
1,000.
I think they were still pricey. I mean, it's again, we're talking about a premium luxury brand here, so
Exactly, yeah.
True.
So no 1K sub monitor. But also talking about monitors, Samsung has recently released the M8 4K 32-inch smart monitor, which features AirPlay. It's got Apple TV built in as well. And it's basically just like a
Dude,
studio display, but it's half the
that
price.
looks that
Oh,
looks to me. Go ahead.
it even has a camera that basically has kind of center stage type
but
stuff.
is it plastic? What's the housing made out of?
The house, I think it might be plastic, yeah. But the camera, like the webcam, the funny thing is the webcam isn't even built into the display. It's kind of like this thing that you add on the top, and it comes with it.
Like a
It's
reverse
kind of weird.
notch?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine if Apple sold you the MacBook Pro and it doesn't have a camera, and then they
But it
give
had
you
a
the
module on top.
exactly. Yeah, you just have the thing that you
It's
clip
so
onto.
weird.
I mean, I think for
Honestly.
$700, that monitor doesn't look too bad, especially since it comes in like a number of different colors.
Does it come
Yeah,
in
that-
RGB
that's
though?
true.
No, it doesn't come in
Does it come with
RGB.
RGB? Then why even get it? If you're gonna go that way, I would say go all the way. I mean, I remember when I first saw a long time ago, but when I first started, like, I guess maybe even they were always there, but paying more attention to like that type of consumer flashing lights and LEDs and every different colors, and I was like, hey, that's actually pretty cool because customization and your different it's like a mood ring, but for all your tech. Like, so I do get the allure. I mean, obviously, and this is no accident. I did this on purpose. Do you guys recognize the colors?
Oh yeah,
It's your guys' colors, right? Did I get them right? I hope I got them right.
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah.
Unlocked podcast colors. I was like, let me do the theme up right. But I mean, maybe what's that thing that they say? They say whenever Apple does it is like, oh, we've been doing it for years, or it's been out forever, right? And then they're like, well, Apple in a way is they're the tastemakers, so they're the ones when they do something, it's mainstream, right? And then it is cool because they're cool. So
Yeah.
like if they made like maybe the next SE that's going to come out in 2 years will have some maybe like the band or like the edges. I don't know. Like if they were to do it, yeah, of course, then all these people because they don't really ever pay attention to tech anyways the way we do. When a company like that, and with that much marketing power, when they put it out there, that could very well be the very first time that they've seen something like that, or at least like are aware that they're seeing it, and they're like, hey, that's kind of a cool idea, let me investigate further. So, and I think the same thing would happen with foldable phones, not to get too off topic, but that same deal where it's like until Apple, Apple won't do it until they can do something that's worth putting their name on and their logo on, right? Because
Exactly.
that'd be the equivalent of them staking their reputation and all of that, and their know-how, and their sense of like how something should be constructed, and the styling, the materials used, the user experience, the longevity of it, and all of that. Again, it won't make it mainstream until Apple does it, and because they'll do it well. At least we hope that they'll do it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And I guess one more news story we have, and then we'll move into a couple of quick fire questions, I guess, because we know you don't have much time left with us today, Mark. But Samsung apparently has been rumored to launch their first rollable, foldable smartphone this year. So what are your guys' thoughts? I guess, Mark, what are your thoughts on like the whole foldable or even rollable kind of area of tech?
It's a new. We're going from new technology to very, very new technology, experimental even. I wonder who's going to be. I mean, like I know a lot of us in the tech community, especially the enthusiasts, are willing to be the first ones through the wall, to be the guinea pigs, to be the beta testers, right, for something, and paying the premium for the first generation of something. For example, Watch Series 0. That's a whole nother thing for another time. But yeah, it's exciting if they've nailed it. Again, we just talked about. These aren't tiny companies, and that's one of the reasons they're able to do such crazy things like this. And I'm curious to see, how the concept of it, the idea of it, performs when it's actually in people's hands and pockets and purses and on the tables, and maybe gets dropped, or all of this.
Yeah,
the real
definitely.
world stuff, because it's easy, like in a lab, or when you're brainstorming somewhere in a conference room, it's not exactly translating to everyday people, especially if you're going to have these somewhat guinea pig beta testers like us pay a premium for the opportunity to try it out. But it's exciting stuff. I mean, I know that the rollable TVs have been out for a little while, but those are expensive, man. But
Yeah.
how baller
Yeah.
is it? How baller is it to have just a 40, 50, 60-inch, 80-inch come out, of a freaking
Dude,
push of a button, or maybe if you
That's
tell
sick. That'd be
if you
sick.
tell
Yeah.
Siri to do it, yeah, if she
that'd be
listens.
sick.
And I guess because all of these like these foldables, these rollables, they're like quite a new technology, as you said.
Mhm.
Of course they're going to be expensive, but then if we like probably in 5 or 6 years, the prices of all of these will go down drastically. Like I remember when flat screen TVs used to be like a couple $1,000s at least, but now you can get them for a couple hundred. And I think it's the same thing with like rollables and foldables. Like right now they may be upwards of like $15,000 or whatever.
Yeah, man, that's
But
wild.
Dude.
as these things get better and they can bring their costs down, as manufacturing gets easier and easier over time as they continue to learn how to manufacture these things, I think I think these foldables could have a place in the average consumer's life, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Definitely.
I just want to say, like, honestly, with this, I'd rather see something like this than the foldables that we have now. That's just me. I think I was talking to Benji about it earlier. I really loved the basic phones that we had back in the day. I really loved the slidable having a touch screen for first phone and then sliding up and having that
Yeah,
keyboard.
yeah, man.
I miss something like that. So if they could have something like that and make it so when you do slide up, it's just a keyboard and something like that would be pretty cool.
Look, like a gimmick, you mean, but like a good one, a
Yeah,
well-built one, and with a
yeah,
function, like
exactly.
a functional gimmick. Like for example, and we've said it before, the sidekicks, right? The
Right,
flippable
yeah,
hip mount.
exactly.
It served a purpose. You were able to use it, without the keyboard, and then when you did, having that nice full keyboard with tactile and everything. Even you had like I think function keys, and you were like
Hmm.
you were able to see like press the same key but with a shift or control or different things to do different like that's one of the first first forays into tech where I was like, okay, there's something here, and I like it. So I'm
Yeah,
excited to see
definitely.
what's next.
Definitely.
Anyway, I think that's unfortunately all we have time for today.
I'll have
It's
to
been
come.
a really good conversation. We'll definitely have you back, Mark, when maybe you don't have to go or one of us
Yeah,
don't have to go.
No,
But
man,
yeah,
no
it's
problem.
been great to have this conversation with you. We've really enjoyed it, and I'm sure everybody who is listening or watching enjoyed it as well. If you want to follow Mark, all of his links will be in the description or the show notes. You guys could go follow him. Same with us. You could go follow us with using. I was about to say the same links, but they'll be in the same place as his links. So make sure you go check those out. But this was episode 25 of the Tech Unlocked podcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We will see you guys next week.
All right. I had to press the button one time. Thanks for having me. Peace out.